The battleground of Gaza has just witnessed another dramatic turn. So in Khan Yunis, the Israeli Defense Forces carried out a highly coordinated strike that eliminated 20 Hamas fighters, and that too in just one swift blow. According to Israel, this was not any random attack but a precision operation planned with intelligence, with ground surveillance and drone power. Now here's how it unfolded. The 20-member Hamas cell was allegedly preparing to launch an attack near a humanitarian zone, a shelter where displaced civilians had taken refuge. The IDF says that these fighters intended to use civilians, specifically the women and minors, as human shields. But before the militants could strike, Israeli drones zeroed in on that exact location. Within minutes, the group was blasted, leaving no civilians casualties behind. Well, surveillance footages reportedly showed something even more disturbing. The surviving Hamas fighters tried to hide behind children in that particular area, but they too were neutralized in what Israel calls a necessary move to protect the civilians. For Tel Aviv, this particular operation is proof that Hamas continues to use the civilians as human shields. They use neighborhoods, schools, shelters, turning civilian areas into battleground. Now, this isn't just about one strike. It is part of a larger pattern. Israel has long accused Hamas of weaponizing humanitarian zones, digging tunnels under hospitals, stockpiling the weapons near schools, and moving fighters among the civilians. Hamas denies these claims, but international monitors have documented instances where militants operated in civilians' heavy zones, making it nearly impossible to avoid any collateral damage. Also, the timing is very important here, with global pressure mounting on Israel over civilian deaths in Gaza. This operation serves as a message that humanitarian zones are the safest place for civilians and that Hamas is the one who's endangering them by turning these areas into cover. Israel is trying to frame this as a proof of its effort to separate militants from the innocents. But here's a larger picture. Will this narrative really hold? Now, here critics argue that no matter how precise Israel claims its strikes are, the sheer density of Gaza means civilians remain at risk. Every single attack, even one with zero civilian casualties, deepens the anger and distrust among the Palestinians, fueling a cycle of violence that has lasted for decades. So, what do we take away from this? On one hand, you have Israel that shows off its intelligence and military precision, claiming that it saved a humanitarian zone from attack. On the other hand, the fact remains that Gaza continues to be a place where the lines between war zones and shelter blur dangerously. And until there's a political solution, every single drone strike, whether hailed as surgical or condemned as reckless, adds yet another chapter to a war with no end in sight.